And I'd just like to close by giving a brief overview of school start time change so that you understand the context for this. So in 1996, first Edina, Minnesota, which is a suburb of Minneapolis, and then Minneapolis proper itself, changed their school start times to 8:30 or later. And this affected more than 18,000 students. And since that time, and we don't have exact numbers on this because there's no central repository for this information, but we think about 1,000 high schools in over 100 districts in 43 states have reported changing their school start time for middle or high school students to later. Bedtimes remain the same, or in some studies have actually shifted earlier. In a study that we conducted in an independent school, which had a half-hour delay in start time from 8 to 8:30, the students on average got 50 more minutes of sleep because their bedtimes on average also shifted 20 minutes earlier. Now, this was unexpected, and we don't know for sure why this happened, but we heard two things from students. One is, I felt so much better getting that extra half hour of sleep that I was motivated to go to bed earlier. And number two, I got my work done faster because I didn't keep falling asleep while I was doing my homework. In terms of school performance, attendance goes up, tardiness rates go down, dropout rates decline, standardized test scores improved, grades improve. In a recent study of 6 schools, 5 of them showed a significant increase in grade point average before and after the start time change in core subjects like English, math, science, and social studies. And there's some evidence that disadvantaged students may benefit more from school start time change, that there seems to be a larger effect, positive impact of start time change for students who are at the lower end of grade distribution, and that the effects of first period classes being early seems larger for Black students than white students. Delayed start times are associated with improvements in mood, less self-reported depression, in health, such as decreased visits to the health center, and this is probably the most important part as far as I'm concerned. So in several studies now, there has been a significant drop in adolescent car crashes in schools that have changed their start time. So in Kentucky, in this particular district, where they changed their start time from 7:30 to 8:40, the percent of teens involved in car crashes went down by 16% versus a 9% increase in the rest of the state. Now, this is not necessarily cause and effect, but this correlational evidence becomes very compelling. In Virginia Beach versus Chesapeake, which are adjacent counties in Virginia, very similar in terms of sociodemographics, one started at 7:20, the other at 8:40. Adolescent crash rates were 40% higher in the earlier starting school, and also peaked an hour earlier. So we're during that time where the students were driving themselves to school in the morning. And finally, the CDC study that I mentioned earlier found a reduction in crash rates in 16 to 18-year-olds in 3 states by as much as 65 to 70%. Following school start time change. Hard to imagine another public health measure that could have that dramatic and immediate an impact on student health.